Hello everyone, today is 21st of March, now it's 7 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is a new episode of Headlines, short summary of the news that was reported by Russian media during the day. And well, that's been said, let's go through some headlines now. And first of all, report from RIA Novosti, which is based on statements of Russian Defense Ministry that settlement Tonenkoye on Avdiivka direction is under full Russian control now. Of course, many of us were expecting this news. I reported about Tonenkoye like 2 or 3 days ago that this settlement is practically, completely under Russian control. But Russian Defense Ministry, being a quite conservative institution, sometimes takes a day or two before confirms information that is already widely available for the public. So this is Tonenkoye, by the way. Of course, many of you know that yesterday Russian Defense Ministry confirmed information about Orlovka, or day before yesterday, that Orlovka was under Russian control, also on Avdiivka direction, right next to Avdiivka's industrial complex, industrial area in the western side. And now Tonenkoye is under Russian control. Russian forces in this area are conducting offensive operations in direction of Semyonovka. And the situation for Ukrainian units becoming more and more difficult in Berdichi also. And if you remember, after Russian forces established control over the Avdiivka, main defense line of Ukrainian forces were Tonenkoye, Orlovka and Berdichi. And Tonenkoye and Orlovka under Russian control. Now, I guess it would not take long before Berdichi will also become under full Russian control. And why am I monitoring map here? I will report that Russian forces conducted successful offensive operations in direction of Pervomayskaya also, and improve positions. Also, Russian forces increasing pressure on Ukrainian units in Krasnogorovka area, which is one may say main stronghold of Kiev regime in southern sector of the southern flank of Donetsk sector, and of course Georgievka settlement. This settlement here, where situation for Ukrainian forces are so difficult that entire platoons are surrendering. And day before yesterday, I believe, during the live stream, I did show a video of this platoon of Ukrainian forces that surrendered exactly in Georgievka. And officer in that platoon was saying that they had no other option but to surrender, because situation in Georgievka for Ukrainian units is unbearable, undefendable, and Kiev regime is maintaining foothold in that settlement only because of the extreme level of casualties and sacrifice of Ukrainian soldiers. Okay, that's been said. Let's continue with some other news, because after all, this is headlines, not the full news update. So Lentaru is, and by the way, usually I have a second news update of the day on my Patreon after headlines, but because I got cold, I don't really feel that good, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to make like 1 hour long video right now, and therefore I may not have second update today on my Patreon page, but I will compensate that in upcoming days. I will try to make some walk and talk videos, maybe even in Moscow. I know our community on Patreon likes this walk and talk type of videos. So yes, that's been said. Let's continue. Lentaru is reporting that according to Russian Defense Ministry, main task for Russian armed forces during the night missile strikes on military and logistical infrastructure of Kiev regime was targeting of decision-making centers of Kiev regime, and also some manufacturing complexes that are involved in repairing operations, repairs of damaged military equipment, or in production of some military equipment. According to defense ministries, all the tasks were achieved during the strikes, and Probably many of you already know that during the night strikes, Russian armed forces used not just cruise missiles, supersonic cruise missiles, or even subsonic, but also hypersonic Kinjal missiles that almost impossible to intercept. At least Kiev regime has no means to intercept those missiles. I don't think anybody has except Russia. RIA Novosti is reporting that, and by the way, I know Kiev regime claimed several times that they are destroying Kinjal missiles left and right, but this is all BS. I don't think anybody will ever trust anything. Anybody who is well informed will ever trust anything that comes from Kiev regime. I remember when mayor of Kiev, isn't it, was showing some fragment of one of the FAB bombs or something like that and saying that this is Kinjal missile. I mean, that was insane, man. But that's the level of intellect of the Zelensky and his criminal associates, including mayor of Kiev, Klitschko. I mean, that guy is dumb as hell, by the way. And I'm not exaggerating. That guy is dumb as hell. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian air defense systems shut down 3 Ukrainian drones over the Crimea today afternoon, about 3 o'clock or 1500 hours. No reports about casualties on the ground or damage. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Russian military-industrial complex began mass production of FAB 3000 air bombs, which is significant, of course, because FAB 250s, FAB 500s, and FAB 1500s already are devastating armed forces of Kiev regime, and not just physically, but by destroying them, but also psychologically. I saw several videos, by the way, when survivors of those FAB strikes are basically under severe shock, and they cannot no longer, I mean, they no longer can be seen as a military personnel. That probably explosions are so severe that whoever survives probably has to go some psychological treatment after that. Today I saw one video. I did not even share on my Telegram. That's how disturbing those videos are, when these soldiers are shaking and you can see clearly in their eyes that they are out of this world. I mean, they are shocked. So can you imagine what FAB 3000 can do? This one gonna be something really extraordinary. But yet again, Ukrainian soldiers have options. There are many frequencies, radio frequencies, that Russian side created especially for Ukrainian units to contact Russian forces and surrender. So nobody can say that Ukrainian soldiers have no options. Yes, many of them are forcefully mobilized and sent to the front line, but while they are on the zero line, they can contact Russian side, lay down arms and surrender and save their lives. While they can do it. Otherwise, well, FAB 3000 may landed right next to them, or FAB 1500. But anyway, this is important news that mass production of FAB 3000s began. I guess the Russian side is preparing something big, and these weapons will be useful, let's say this way. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that Putin, President of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, officially declared Russia's president-elect. Today, Central Election Commission finalized results of the presidential elections. Topic is closed, so until inauguration, which is scheduled for May 7th, President Putin will be officially, formally president-elect, and after inauguration, he will serve as a president once again. Okay, RIA Novosti is reporting that, surprisingly, by the way, head of diplomacy of EU, Borrell, Josep Borrell, come out with a relatively rare adequate statement, and he said that Europeans not gonna fight and die for Donbass. EU not gonna fight for Donbass, and therefore politicians in the EU should not scare people with the war that, according to those politicians, is inevitable. So I don't know what happened, by the way, to Borrell. Maybe he has some new advisor who explained to him that all of them are looking like clowns by saying on daily basis that war is coming and Russia will attack not today but tomorrow. And maybe as a result of that good advices, Borrell realized that, if they will continue this scaremongering tactics, eventually no one gonna take them seriously at all, even in the Western world, despite their heavy propaganda that they use on against civilians in the West. So yes, quite interesting. I didn't expect that from Borrell, by the way. But anyway, RT is reporting that one of the opposition leaders in France commented on recent escalatory steps of President of France, Macron, towards Russia. And well, let's go through some sentences here. The conflict in Ukraine does not directly affect France's key national interests. The former leader of the far-right National Rally Party, Marine Le Pen, told the BFM TV broadcaster on Wednesday. Le Pen, who led the party for more than a decade, argued that France's vital interests are not in question. The three-time presidential candidate also suggested that Russia does not pose a threat to European nations, and that the best thing Kiev's Western backers can do is ensure that it sits down at the negotiating table with Moscow as soon as possible. I mean, very adequate statement. I don't know what kind of support Marine Le Pen has right now. Probably she does have significant support of French community, but in any case, it's good to see that there are politicians in the West, by the way, that are seeing big picture quite clear and are absolutely adequate. And she's demonstrating this. I mean, I don't know why she's called far-right party. I mean, nowadays, these titles have been given to people like left and right. I mean, why is she far-right politician? I mean, I don't know. It's up to French society to decide. But in any case, she's absolutely correct in this particular case. I have nothing to say against her statement. Let's continue, and RT is reporting also that Zelensky's security chief insults senior Chinese diplomat. What a surprise, man, what a surprise. So Alexei Danilov, the secretary of the Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, has insulted a senior Chinese diplomat during the live interview by playing on the similarity between his name and the Ukrainian swear words. Danilov rebuked Beijing's special representative on Eurasian affairs, Li Hui, on national TV on Wednesday after the diplomat visited Kiev earlier this month. According to political sources, he amplified the message that his government may boycott international talks on the Ukraine conflict, which Kiev wants to convene without Russia in Switzerland. So, well, I report about Chinese and India's position on upcoming talks in Switzerland, upcoming conference in Switzerland. Both countries are distancing themselves from that conference because they have no time to spend it. They are very busy, obviously, and they have no time to spend on some irrelevant, nonsensical conferences. And that conference is nonsensical, first of all, because Moscow was quite clear when high-ranking officials, Russian officials, several times stated that in no circumstances Moscow will talk about the so-called Zelensky's peace formula, because it's total nonsense. It's total nonsense, and Moscow has no time to spend on that garbage. And New Delhi and Beijing understands Moscow's position, why that Zelensky's peace formula is a non-starter, because it is. And one of the points in that Zelensky's formula, many of you of course are informed, is that Zelensky basically demands from Russian side to withdraw troops towards borders of Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, as Ukraine was in during the USSR, as if nothing has happened in 2014 and after that. And this is of course not possible, by the way. It's just not possible. That Zelensky's initiative is non-starter, and serious people have no time to spend it on this garbage that Zelensky and his Western masters are trying to present as some kind of way out from current crisis. It's not happening. And this idiot Alexei Danilov, head of Ukraine's Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, is insulting on a TV, by the way, during the live broadcasting, this high-ranking Chinese diplomat. That's the face of Kiev regime, by the way, and that's the level of their intelligence and their humanity. That's all. I mean, embarrassment, total embarrassment that those people are, man. RT is reporting that NATO, one of the NATO nations, gives timeline for F-16 deliveries to Ukraine. So the West will deliver the first bunch of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine within the next several months, with more to come later this year. Dutch Defense Minister Kajsa Ollengren has said Denmark will be the first Western country to supply Ukraine with the advanced aircraft, with the Netherlands to follow soon afterwards, the defense minister revealed in an interview with the Reuters on Wednesday, as she wrapped up her visit to Kiev. Okay. No one gonna be happy, of course, in Russia if and probably when F-16s will arrive in Ukraine, in Ukrainian skies. But yet again, for Russian air defense systems, for Russian fighter pilots, it don't really makes any difference. They're gonna destroy Ukrainian MiG-29, MiG-29, Su-27 or F-16, for example. Those planes will be destroyed in a very similar way as any other aircraft in the military inventory of the Kiev regime. Although, of course, high-ranking Russian officials several times made the statement that because F-16s are nuclear-capable planes and the Western ruling elites are delivering to Kiev regime other nuclear-capable weapon systems also, Moscow may react on deliveries of F-16 very strongly. And, well, let's see what that reaction will be. There's no point to speculate, really, at this moment. RT is reporting that EU state to send more old Leopard tanks to Ukraine. So Spain, by the way, will donate up to 20 Leopard 2A4 main battle tanks to Ukraine, adding to their 10 tanks sent last year. Local media reported this week the EU nations has a stockpile of over 100 of their vehicles manufactured in the late 1980s. So, well, according to this report, EU nations have about another 100 Leopard 2A4s in their inventory that theoretically may be sent, but at least for now, Spain will deliver 20 this type of vehicles. Only question I have, why? I mean, why Spain? Just it does not make any sense, really. This is not your fight, and why you're doing this, but okay, there will be time for payback, and Spain should be ready for that. That's all I can say. Otherwise, those Leopard 2s will burn on the very same way that Abrams tanks are burning in fields their own line of contact, and other main battle tanks also. Of course, no weapon systems, by the way, no number of weapon systems that Western may deliver to Kiev regime can change inevitable outcome of this confrontation. Western ruling class already lost this proxy war that they were waging against Russia. They already lost it. It's only formalization is left. That's it. TASS news agency is reporting that Finland will donate another 30 million euros to buy shells, munition for Kiev regime. Yet again, I mean, current leadership of Finland destroyed the almost ideal relationships between the countries, man, between Russia and Finland. I mean, relationships was almost ideal. I mean, on a very good level, very high level, and then Washington put in power those the criminals that are running and ruining Finland right now, and we are where we are. Relationships between two countries are almost non-existent at this point. RIA Novosti is reporting that Slovakia refused to participate in buying those munitions under Czech Republic's initiative to send them then to Ukraine. Slovakia's government is quite clear that this country will never participate in weapons deliveries to Kiev regime, because Slovakian leadership believes that this conflict should be resolved by negotiations. Well, this is a principal position. It seems like, at least for now, principal position of new Slovakian government. Previous one was very different, extremely anti-Russian, and previous government of Slovakia basically effectively demilitarized Slovakia. They almost have nothing left in army to send to Kiev regime. But now there is new government in Slovakia which is acting definitely more reasonably. At least I can understand they're coming from. So, well done. What can I say? RIA Novosti is reporting that according to media reports, including Bloomberg, by the way, Russia and China achieve agreement with the Ansar Allah movement of Yemen, or Houthi rebels as they also are known worldwide, on secure passage or safe passage for Russian and Chinese ships in the Gulf of Aden and Red Sea. There were some instances when by mistake Houthi rebels were targeting some commercial vessels that were connected with Russia or China. And I guess if this information is correct, I guess that kind of accidents will be no more, and some decision-making process will be put in place to make sure that Houthi rebels are not targeting by mistake vessels, commercial vessels of Russia and China. Yet again, if Bloomberg's information and information of several other media outlets are correct. Lentaru is reporting that high-ranking official in Georgia reacted quite strongly on statements of some politicians inside and outside of Georgia, whom are calling for Tbilisi, capital of Georgia, to stop helping Russia to bypass sanctions, Western sanctions, and leader of ruling party in Georgia, Mamukam Dinaradze, quite openly and directly stated that all the people that are making such statements against Georgia are enemies of Georgia. So Mamukam Dinaradze did not play diplomacy here. He was, very direct in his statements, and I guess we can assume that this is the position of Georgia's current government. They just don't give a damn about anybody who is trying to create some tensions between Russia and Georgia, and who wants to sacrifice basically Georgia and use it as a kind of second front against Russia. And this is right approach, by the way, undoubtedly. This is right approach, undoubtedly. And also Lentaru is reporting that Austria, by the way, Austria's officials are against using profits from Russian frozen assets to arm Kiev regime. according to Austrian leadership, this kind of move will only have negative consequences for Eurozone and European Union, European economy, which is absolutely correct. EU's central bank is saying, by the way, almost the same. EU's central bank, which is in Frankfurt, isn't it, is saying the same. That in no circumstances these Brussels bureaucrats should start stealing Russian assets, frozen ones or profits from Russian frozen assets, because it will devastate Eurozone and it will it will be extremely how should I say, it will be bad for European economy, let's say this way, which is quite understandable. But I don't think Brussels is gonna listen to European Central Bank or to Austrian leadership. They don't care. They see those assets, they're gonna steal it. That's how it is, and everybody in this world knows now. If they had any illusions before, now everybody knows that you cannot invest in Europe, you cannot invest in North America, because local governments can steal your investments at any time. Just at any time. That's it, man. If 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago, collective West was seen as an area where investments are safe and secure, this is no longer case. And it's factual. And that's why many European states are experiencing outflow of funds, not inflow. Anyway, let's continue. Kommersant is reporting that Central Bank of Turkey further increase interest rate, key interest rate from 45 to 50%, which is big, by the way, of course. If you remember this morning, it was this morning, isn't it? I was saying that here in Russia we have interest rate, key interest rate of central bank is 16%, and I was saying it's too much really, but seems like there are no other options right now. This is the best way to deal with some issues that economy may have, to keep this high key rate in 16%, but some other countries have even bigger issues, and Turkey is one of them, where interest rate of central bank is 50%, which is unbelievable, man. How are you gonna take any credit in Turkey at all? I mean, it's gonna be too expensive, really. I mean, anyway, hopefully Russia, Turkey, and every other country will deal with whatever economical issues they are dealing with, being inflation or whatever it is, and key rates will come down significantly. And also RT is reporting that Russia doubles oil exports to Africa, according to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Great news. Moscow has increased exports of petroleum products to African countries in recent years, despite Western sanctions, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said. And well, in numbers, it's like it's doubled basically, which is good, of course, which is good. And just a sec. So I want to give you some numbers. So diplomats said there is no fear about Iran restoring its legal rights to trade oil and invest in economic developments. Tehran produces 2.99 million barrels of oil per day in 2023, 440,000 more than in previous year, according to International Energy Agency. And this comment from Lavrov comes after sharing information that Russia have doubled the exports of petroleum products to Africa over the past year and a half, and this was a response on the question whether Russia is beginning to compete with their other countries, particularly Iran, in their oil on the oil market, and well, answer is no. There is no fear of some issues on the oil market, because Moscow and Iran will find their common ground, like Moscow has found common ground with OPEC organization, and eventually all oil producing nations will benefit from, you know, from cooperation to make sure that prices are okay, and balance between supply and demand is also on the best possible level. Anyway, let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting that well, unfortunately today, start of Russian Soyuz MS-25 rocket with Russian and Belarusian crew, cosmonauts on board, was postponed because of some technical issues, and now start is scheduled for 27th March, and start will happen 15:36 to be more precise. So yes, unfortunately there was some technical issues, and today Roscosmos was unable to launch this this missile with the crew on board towards International Space Station. And well, quite a long update, by the way. Unusually long update for headlines, but hopefully you will find this video interesting, useful, informative, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything you want. More likes and comments will definitely help to deal with the algorithm on both platforms, on Rumble and YouTube, and will help me to reach wider audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos with your friends on any of the platforms that you are actively using. And finally, if you think this channel is interesting, useful, informative, maybe even entertaining time to time, and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal. By PayPal, Boosty, by the way, I am still periodically automatically saying buy me a coffee, but unfortunately I was suspended on buy me a coffee, cancelled because of my Russian citizenship. So I'm using Boosty now, so you can support my work if you can and if you want to through PayPal, Boosty, which is a extremely popular platform among creators here in Russia, and also by subscribing to my Patreon page. Patreon is of course monthly subscription, and you can choose their level of support from $5 in a month up to 10, 20 or 50. It's up to you. So yes, this is it for now. All the links, by the way, are in the description box and in the pinned comment. And yes, this is it for now. Have a great day and take care.